Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing video, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the latest battle box for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. It is of course Echoes of Doom, and it pits the Sylvaneth against the Skaven, two armies that are going to be getting battle tomes in the near future. So really excited about this one here at Sprues and Brews HQ, because I'm a big Skaven fan, and Jay is, of course, a massive Sylvaneth fan. So we'll be painting this box up between us, and we'll be getting up images of those models completed, in particular the new stuff, hopefully on our social media channels by the time this video is up and ready for you to watch when the NDA lifts. So it's a big old box. Let's just spin this over. Pop this back down. So we have within this box for the Sylvaneth, we've got the brand new Lady of Vines, we've got the brand new Gossamer Archers, we've got 3 Kernoth Hunters, and we've got a Spirit of Durfu, and they're up against the Skaven, of which we've got the brand new Deathmaster. We've got 10 Storm Vermin, 20 Clan Rats, and 1 Grey Seer on Screaming Bell. So I think obviously, model-wise, the newer stuff is mainly on the Sylvaneth side. You've got the new archers that were revealed at Warhammer Fest, and the Lady of Vines, with the Deathmaster being the only new model on the Skaven side. Those Skaven models are classics, shall we say. But, I mean, value-wise, if you compare them to how much these kits are to buy individually, there's probably quite a bit of saving here. Although, obviously, there's an argument to be had that, you know, these Skaven models have been around for a very long time, so their value may not be quite so clear, shall we say. But there we go. So that is the contents of this box. Well, I say that. We also get an Echoes of Doom campaign book, we get the core rules, and we get some warscroll cards as well. So I'm just going to take a slight pause, and we'll come back with the box open. It's always good to open a box and be faced with an awful lot of plastic, which is exactly what we've got here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear these sprues, split them into the Sylvaneth and the Skaven, and then we can take a closer look at exactly what we've got here, in particular the new stuff. So again, let's get these organised and I'll be right back. So we're ready to take a look at some of the Sylvaneth sprues. Here we go. So the first one we're going to be looking at, I believe, is the Spirit of Durfu. So he's a model that's been out for some time now. Still a very, very nice model. I think it was fantasy, wasn't he? Because he was just Durfu. So we won't spend too long looking at the sprues on him, because of course he's been around for some time. We then have the Kernoth Hunters. So again, we won't take too long on these because we've seen these before. These have been out for some time. Again, still really nice models. Some of my favourite models within the Sylvaneth range. And I think we've got one more Kernoth Hunter sprue there as well. Now, let's get on to some new stuff. Oh no, actually, we've got one more sprue for Durfu, the alternative build, I think, is the parts on there. So I think the Spirit of Durfu can also be made as just a generic tree man or tree lord. Apologies, my not up to date on my Sylvaneth. So again, very quick look at those because it's a classic sprue, that one. So let's check out some new stuff. So we've got one half a sprue, which contains your 5 Gossamer Archers. So these guys all have wings. They look super cool. I really like these. Of all the Warhammer Fest announcements for the Sylvaneth, I think these were my favourite. As much as the beetle flying guys are cool, I think I actually prefer these. I think these look really cool flying around with an Arch Revenant. Flip that sprue over. So yeah, very, very nice models. I like the little wings, they're really cool. The bows are really cool. So yeah, I can't wait until Jay's got those built and painted. Might tempt me to get a Sylvaneth army of my own. And then there's this crazy lady. This is the Lady of Vines. So she looks like a nightmare to transport, but the detail's really nice. I really not like a sort of leaf cloak that's going on here. She has lots of vines, as the name intends. Obviously not sure what her rules are like yet, but we'll find out in a moment. Flip that sprue over. There we go, that's the Lady of Vines. Okay, we'll just have a very quick look at the Sylvaneth War Scrolls. So I unfortunately don't know how much these have changed, because again, I'm not a Sylvaneth player, so you'll be able to probably tell yourselves when you're checking out this video. We've got the Spirit of Durfu up first. Still an absolute beast. Still doing flat 6 damage. I do remember that from facing Jay's Durfu quite a few times with that massive sword when he's at full health. And then we've got his abilities there as well. So apologies, I don't think he's really changed. There might be a couple of things on his stats that have changed. But yeah, you Sylvaneth players will be able to tell me exactly what has changed on there. So that's Durfu. We then have the Cairn of Hunters. So this is the War Scroll card with the bows, although the box, I believe, does have the options to build the other guys as well. But they obviously intend for you to build them with bows in this box. Some really nice artwork on the back as well from the cover, which is very cool. But again, apologies, not sure if anything's really changed there. But that's the Cairn of Hunters. Then we've got the 2 new units for the Sylvaneth. We've got the Gossamer Archers, 12-inch bows, 2 attacks, freeze and freeze, no rend, damage 1. Pretty standard. For a modified hit roll of an attack made with a bow is 6. Target suffers D3 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. Very tasty. Very tasty. Yeah, that's very cool. Oh, you can unleash hell and then retreat as well. Oh, they're very good. Yeah, they seem like a very strong unit. Very strong unit. Yeah, very impressed with them. And then we've got the Lady of Vines, who has quite a big War Scroll card. So she also has a missile attack, 2s and 2s, -1 D6 damage. Only -1, but that's not bad. And then plenty of melee attacks as well. Again, all -1 rend, freeze and freeze. She's a War Master, which is interesting. Means she's treated as a general, even though she's not been picked as your army's general. She can cast 2 spells. Friendly Sylvaneth units within 6 inches of this unit are treated as being wholly within 6 inches of an awakened wildblood. That's very good. And there's lots you can do with those. Hi, you can summon some dryads with her. That's cool. Yeah, she's very good. 10 wounds, 8-inch move, 3+ save. Oh, she's pretty tough. She is pretty tough. So yeah, very impressive, her War Scroll card. Okay, so it's now time to check out the Skaven half of this box. So if I just grab these sprues here. Oh. So most of these, or a significant number of these, are all very old kits. So we've got the Screaming Bell, which can also be built as a Plague Furnace. So I'm not going to spend too much time on these sprues because they are quite a classic kit. We've got the massive bell there, the Rat Ogre. Yeah, it's still a very, very cool kit. Very much a centerpiece of your Skaven army. So yeah, we'll spend too much time on that. We've got the second sprue that makes up the Screaming Bell and the Plague Furnace. So again, very cool. Nothing new about this. Same as the old sprue. In fact, I wonder if it's got a date on this to say when this came out. Well, 2009, this sprue was cut, so I don't know if that was when it came out or maybe when they made more of them. Yeah, very cool. We then have another classic kit. We have got the Clan Rats. I think this one's a Clan Rats. No, sorry. This first one is a Storm Vermin. So there we go. So you get 10 Storm Vermin in this box set. And these are all like your elite guys. As elite as a rat can be. Again, a classic sculpt. So I won't spend a massive amount of time looking at that sprue. But yeah, I do like Storm Vermin. I don't think they see much play in the current rules. So it'd be good to see if they get an update, which we'll look at in a moment when we look at the War Scrolls. And then finally, we've got Clan Rats. So you get 20 of these. And you can arm them with either spears or hand weapons. Again, we'll look at their War Scroll in a moment. Again, very classic. When was this one cut? When was this sprue cut? 2009 as well. So again, don't know if that was a reprint or when they originally came out. But yeah, very ace. So nothing new there. But what we do have that's brand new is we've got the Deathmaster. So he just comes on one little sprue. And he is our new Skaven assassin. So he's very cool. Looks very straightforward to put together. He's not a named character or anything. He's just a Deathmaster assassin. So it's good to have him in plastic. I thought when the new Underworld warband came out, that would be sort of my standing Deathmaster. But actually they've got quite an interesting, if expensive, War Scroll themselves. So you could end up running the Deathmaster and the new Underworld warband. So let us quickly grab the War Scroll cards for the Skaven to see what's changed here. We'll leave the Deathmaster till last. Let's start with the Screaming Bell. So this one comes on a double War Scroll. So quite a lot has changed. You can now only cast one spell, which is a bit disappointing. Doesn't have the Ignore Battle Shock Aura either. I've got a feeling that's going to be built into the battle trait somewhere. It's far easier to summon a Vermin Lord now. Basically, you roll a d6, you add the amount of wounds taken on your Grey Seer, and then if you hit 13 or above, a Vermin Lord appears. So really, you want to be down to 1 or 2 wounds left to have the greatest chance of summoning a Vermin Lord. You can even summon him into combat if your Grey Seer and Scream Bell's already in combat. You still get a plus and minus on your casting and chanting, because actually once per battle you can your Grey Seer can change to a priest, which is interesting. Doesn't have any unique priest powers at the moment, but maybe we'll see something in the full battle tome. The thing still gets quite a few attacks. Not amazing. All -1 rend. You have got flat 2 from the Rat Ogre. He gets 4 attacks, but he's hitting on 4s. You've still got the Peel of Doom. So this has changed quite a lot. Now you roll just a singular d6. On a 1, you suffer d3 mortal wounds. On a 2, you add 6 inches to the move characteristic. 3, until your next hero phase, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by enemy units that are within 13 inches of any friendly Screaming Bells, of which you've rolled this result for, which is cool. Deafening Peals, until your next hero phase, roll dice each time an enemy model is picked to issue a command while it's within 13 inches of a friendly Screaming Bell. On a 5+, that command cannot be issued, so stop your enemy from issuing commands. That's always cool. Screaming Crescendo, until your next hero phase. After this unit makes a charge move, you can pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of this unit and roll a dice. On 2+, the enemy suffers d6 mortal wounds. And finally, on a roll of 6 Apocalyptic Doom. At the end of this hero phase, Roll a dice for each enemy unit is within 13 inches of any screaming bells for which you have rolled this result in this phase. On a 4+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So not bad. Some of them are slightly better than others. Cracked Call's back. I think that's pretty much the same. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else. It still has to be pushed by a unit of Skaven that are 10 or more models. Whether they be clan rats or storm vermin, it's up to you. Speaking of storm vermin, here's their warscroll card. So they now just have a flat 4+ save. Doesn't matter if they're physically armed with shields or not. They're now freeze to hit, freeze to win, -1 rend, 1 damage, 2 attacks each. But what you're taking these for is the elite bodyguards rule. So basically they can take wounds for your heroes to say, you could use them to protect a Screaming Bell. I think I'd be tempted to take 20 of these around the Screaming Bell, because obviously you want at least 10 to push it. Because you could quite quickly start taking some hits on your storm vermin. So yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. They're hitting averagely. They're okay. Clan rats are interesting. So again, ignoring the fact if they've got shields or not, they just have a flat 5+ save. They have a cool new ability called Seething Swarm. So at the end of the battle shock phase, you roll a d3 and you bring that many rats back to your unit. I'm wondering if there'll be other things in the book as well, which will further add to that. So you've got lots of options of bringing rats back. They're still hitting on 4s and 4s with their rusty blades, or they're hitting on 5s with the spears, but getting the extra inch reach to get those hordes of rats in. But like I say, no need to worry about shields, because that's all baked into the profile. And then finally we have the new guy. So he's quite similar to the Underworld's leader, in which he gets a similar number of attacks. He gets 5 attacks with his throwing start, which are 4s and 4s with no rend, D3 damage. And his Weeping Blade, for in combat, again, he gets 5 attacks. Freeze and freeze, -1, D3 damage. But the really cool ability, again, exactly the same as the Underworld Warband, is any hits of a 6, an unmodified 6, both with your missile weapons and your melee weapons, ends that combat for that particular dice, but you deal D3 mortal wounds. So you've in essence got 10 attacks, including your shooting attacks, to be potentially dealing D3 mortal wounds to your enemy, which is going to be killing characters, so long as you roll those 6s. They still hide in units, and they appear at the start of the combat phase when you choose to. They can also run and still shoot later in the turn as well. So there's an argument to be had that actually they might be better not starting in units, so then you get to shoot with them as well. So yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's better than the old one. The old one, is supposed to be a character assassin and he just couldn't kill anything. At least this guy's got those D3 mortal wounds on hits out of 6s to potentially take out those characters with. 5 attacks is not bad. Not bad at all. So if I remove this, we've got some amazing artwork on the back of there. It's the same as what we've seen on the warscroll cards as well. The Sylvaneth fighting the Skaven. I really fancy framing that, although mine's actually slightly damaged there from the sprue. Might be able to get away with that. Framing that and put it on the hobby wall. But that's a really nice piece of artwork. We've then, of course, got bases. We've got a small copy of the core rulebook, which is always really handy. I know the last tournament we went to, Matt took his. I didn't bother taking my big rulebook. I just took my General's Handbook, but I'll probably be taking that with me for any tournaments from now on. We then also have a sheet of tokens with a trusty 9-inch ruler to punch out. So we've got some objective markers, command point tokens, your basic priest and powers like Mystic Shield, and then it also looks like we've got some scenery and monstrous action tokens there as well. So they're quite handy to have, and they're double-sided. So we've got flaming weapon there, Ghostsmith. So we've actually looks like we've got some from the actual armies as well, Slayers. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And then the final thing that we have in the box aside from the instructions, is the Echoes of Doom supplement. We'll take a close look at this and we'll be right back. So yes, here we are with the final part of the box. It's the Echoes of Doom supplement. And what this does is it talks you through the war that's currently raging between the Sylvaneth and the Skaven. So it brings both races bang up to date with what's going on in the mortal realms. I'm not going to really dwell too much on the lore in here. It is a really, really cool read. I mean, I love the Skaven anyway, and I do have an interest in the Sylvaneth, so this was the perfect read for me. It really gives you inspiration when creating your armies. I just want to roll some dice and play some Sigmar. But yeah, it's a really, really cool read. I like how it kind of ties into what's going on in the mortal realms at the moment. I just think they're putting so much effort into the lore for this game at the moment. If you've not been reading, for example, the recent narrative books, then you really need to, because they're very, very good. So really nice. There's that artwork again of the Skaven fighting the Sylvaneth. You got a bit more detail on the Sylvaneth, because this could be your entry to either of these armies. The kits that come in this box are perfect for starting up Sylvaneth armies and Skaven armies, in particular for Path to Glory, which is exactly what me and Jay from Sprues and Brews are also doing. So we're going to be starting a Sylvaneth and Skaven Path to Glory army, and I'm pretty sure Jay's just going to use the contents of this box to begin with, albeit maybe minus 1 or 2 units, because points wise I think it is a bit more skewed towards the Sylvaneth rather than the Skaven. Whereas I'll probably just use the whole contents of the Skaven to kick me off. So if you've never played with these forces before, or it's your first time playing in Sigmar, then this book's really good at talking you through the units that are included and giving you background on both armies. You've then got some example artwork. So you've got the brand new Lady of Vines there, which is in this box. Such a gorgeous and sinister looking model. These guys, these new archers, I think they're my favourite from all the new reveals. I'd love to have a unit of those with some arch revenants flying around. Maybe a potential for a future Path to Glory army myself. I also really like the Kernoff Hunters as well. They're very, very cool. And of course, you've got the Spirit of Durfu. And you've got your Skavens, you've got your brand new Deathmaster, your classic Screaming Bell with Clan Rats and Storm Vermin. And there you have the forces facing off against each other. So then we've got some Region of War rules. So you can sort of play this little battle narratively using these realm rules and the battle plans that are in here. Which are pretty interesting. Skaven have got some additional rules, potentially to help them, you know, bridge the sort of slight points gap with the contents of the box. You've got some example narrative battle plans, which are always fun. So in this particular one, you're using just the Lady of Vines and 1 Kernoff Hunt unit against some Storm Vermin and some understrength Clan Rats. Your second one, nice interesting setup there. It looks like this is your final battle plan, which has all the forces of your box going up against each other. And then just in case you lose your war scroll cards, or whilst you're waiting for the battle tome, you have also got all the war scrolls in here as well. Exactly the same as the ones that are on the cards, just a little bit easier to read. And of course, you've got your points. So I think it works out, I haven't got a calculator with me right now, but I'm sure before I start recording, there's about 1,100 points worth for Sylvaneth, which is brilliant. And you've got about 600, 700 points worth of Skaven. So points-wise, it is skewed a little bit towards the Sylvaneth, or a lot towards the Sylvaneth. But still, it's a nice... The Skaven that come in this box, a Skaven player has probably already got all of those kits, but if you're new to the faction, then it's a great box to pick up. Whereas the Sylvaneth, if you're a new Sylvaneth player, it's a great way to start. It's a way I'm very tempted to start, with your Kernoff Hunters, your Spirit of Durfu, the new Lady of Vines, and then add some new kits and the old kits to it. If you're previously a Sylvaneth player, then it's a great way of expanding the army. So, a mixed bag when it comes to contents. We don't know the full value of this box at the time of filming this video, but I would imagine there'd be quite a bit of saving to be had based on the current RRP of all the kits in this, and that does include the Skaven at their current RRP. And I know a lot of you'd be thinking, but these kits have been out for ages, they're probably worth pennies. You're probably not wrong, but from an RRP point of view, there are savings to be had within this box. So we have seen what these models look like on the sprue, but what about actually built and painted? We're going to start with the Sylvaneth half of this box, of which has gone to Jay to paint to match his Sylvaneth scheme. Let's see how he's got on. So let's check out the key new character first of all. So this is the Lady of Vines in her painted, completed self, and she is amazing. She's actually a lot bigger than I expected. Trying to get that to focus there. She's an absolute monster. Yeah, she's very, very cool. Jay's done a really, really good job there. I mean, we've seen her warscroll. She's pretty tasty in combat as well. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure, especially if you've got a list running with a L'Ariel as well. So yeah, an absolutely amazing miniature, much bigger than I expected she was going to be. We then have the second new unit from the box. This is the Gossamid Archers. I'm sure I'm pronouncing these different every time I say it. But these are your new sort of flying archers. Again, Jay has done an absolutely brilliant job on these. Just get that to focus. I love how he's done those wings. They look really, really nice. That's the first one from the unit. So just place her down. Then have the second one from the unit. Really dynamic poses. I love the fact that they're not relying on flying stands. They're using like tree branches and things to stand on. Much prefer that to flying stands. And we have the next one. Wings in a slightly different position on this one. Still very, very cool. The Zephyr Spites on the back there. Very nice. They all look so unique. Like all the different poses. And then finally, the fifth one from the unit. That one's getting an arrow out ready. Yeah, very, very nice. Absolutely superb job there from Jay. Now they're obviously the two new units. Jay has actually also gone one step further and he's got the rest of the Sylvaneth half of this box as well ready for the battlefield. So we've got the Spirit of Durfu with his flaming red sword there of Doom, looking very scary. Very cool. So I'll pop him down there. And then the Kernoff Hunters. Again, armed with bows. We'll just get to focus a little bit. The Kernoff Hunters with bows. If you'd like to see some better high resolution images of each of these models, you can check them out in our article over on spruesandbrews.com, and again via the link below in the description. Because you might not get a true representation from this video. So yeah, you might want to check out that article. And then finally we've got the last Kernoff Hunter there as well. So, you know, even though they're a little bit older now, they're still such nice kits. And that is the Sylvaneth half of the box, led by the Lady of Vines. So let's check out the Skaven part. Now onto the Skaven half of this box, and here is the new Deathmaster. So he was really, really fun to paint. I've just got obviously the base, the rim and the base there to finish on this guy, and there's a couple of highlights, but really pleased with how he's turned out. Really, really enjoyed painting him, and I think all you fellow Skaven players will as well. It's great to have him in plastic. Can't wait to see how it does in game. His warscroll, as we've seen, is miles better than his previous one. So yeah, again, there's a better image over on spruesandbrews.com to check out as well. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to finish building and painting my half of the Skaven box, but I did bring out a couple of clan rats that I did manage to paint. So that is the content of Echoes of Doom, which is up for pre-order right now. Our thanks to Games Workshop again for sending us a copy of this box to paint and review for you guys. Some really cool models within this box. Obviously, the value's going to vary depending on what you're after, if you can split this or if you're interested in both armies. But yeah, I personally can't wait to give the Skaven a run out with the new book when it comes out, and Jay's really keen to add those Sylvaneth reinforcements. I will remind you once again to check out spruesandbrews.com for all the full high resolution images, and I've also got a write-up on there as well, and a run through of all the different war scrolls from this box. I hope you've enjoyed this video. We've got lots more content coming soon, so make sure you keep an eye on us for that. And until next time, folks, happy hobbying!